Evening then guys, thank you. Yeah, my name's Mark Anderson. I work at Cleveland School just over the water. And it's my real privilege to be here tonight talking to you about how ICT can support learning in education, both in primary and secondary. Things have changed since I first started working in schools, and so as time has moved on, there are loads of new ways and exciting ways we can use ICT in education. There are lots of new models we can employ in our learning and employ in our pedagogy within our classrooms. Things aren't as they used to be. Thankfully, it wasn't quite like that when I started teaching myself. But we need to understand that nowadays, if we're going to use ICT and technology in our classrooms, we're not going to blow up the world. It's not going to cause massive catastrophes and problems. The traditional ways of working with technology have changed as well. There's still room for books and study, but the way in which we learn has changed. When I first started teaching, these were really popular in the classroom. Remember these? My physics teacher used to have his entire entire scheme of learning, all the resources on every lesson I'd go in, he'd turn like this and wind up on to the next lesson. And that was the technology then, but things are so much more engaging now. And certainly, and that's my son now, if you're born into it, then technology isn't new, it's not fresh, it's just the way that you work, it's the way that you live, and it's just a tool that you use all the time. So how can we support learning through the use of technology? How can we do that? There are lots of innovative, exciting ways that we can use technology in the classroom. But I always try and put across, if I can, a health warning, as it were. Because I'm going to show you some tools tonight, and you're going to look at it and go, oh wow, that's so cool. I could do this with it, I could do that with it. It's really exciting, the things that you can do with technology today. It's really fresh and vibrant. But I want us to think a little bit before we go rushing off to the IT school you've booked yourself in. I want you to think a little bit about the sort of activities you're going to be doing when you go in there, because Dr. Ruben Pantatura has brought this salmon model and researched it. What he says is that what you don't want to do is go into an ICT classroom and replace a standard activity for something you can do in a classroom without technology. So if you're doing some writing, you could just type it out. That's just a substitution activity. That's not bringing any extra depth to the learning. That's not supporting things any further. And so, what he reports, and I agree with, is that if you're going to go into a classroom where you've got technology there, or you're going to bring technology into your classroom, you need to think long, hard, and carefully about how you're going to implement the learning, because it shouldn't be something about technology. You shouldn't be hanging your lesson on the technology. It should be about how learning can be enhanced. Because it should be better learning. And so you'll be wanting to have activities where the learning is bringing the redefined rather than just substituting it one way of working to another way of working. So I've got some ideas for you to take away that I'm going to use in your classroom. And the first of these is one called Pictocharts. Now, if you're working in maths or science or geography or social sciences, you're dealing with statistics every day. An infographic, and Sharon says that she's been working with this herself as well, based on some conversations we've had in the past on Twitter. But Pictochart is a really, really fantastic tool where you can get this to work. Where you can create infographics which combine information and graphics to help explain the topic you're trying to study, the research that you've done, in a more clear fashion. Okay, so that should be bringing up a web page right now. But I tell you that, it is really, really powerful. So So that's a free tool. Okay, you can sign up with your email address and just access to things. There's access to more templates and what have you that you can get if you sign up and pay for it. But it's a free tool, and the tools I'm going to be showing you guys are all free. Okay, the next tool is one called Podomatic. This is a really cool tool as well. If you've got a microphone, which can record things, it's a site where you can upload lots and lots of free audio. So it could be something as simple as students reading out stories, so they can play it back and think about how their concentration might be improved. It could be that they're making their own French radio station to help them with their foreign languages work. It could be music where you put performances up there. It could be for a whole school radio. A really nice thing about the Podomatic, apart from being completely free, is that you can link it through to iTunes. If you've got students across your whole school sites and you have got this whole school radio, students with their devices can then subscribe via iTunes to your weekly radio podcast, and then automatically when they sync that to iTunes and have that completely downloaded straight away. And that would be the same for any subject area broadcast you might have. It might be that you've got your languages podcast of the week or whatever. So it's a really fantastic tool. All you need to do is get the audio sorted, you upload it, and away you go. What's also nice about it is how you can have people comment on what you do. So if you're trying to get students to comment on what they think of the work and feedback and so forth and so on, you can do that using the Podomatic sites. This next one, I'll try and do this one, see how we get on. This one, Answer Garden. There we go. It's a little bit like Twitter. So you set a question, okay? You give the students the specific address that comes up when you set your question. And then students go to that address and then give you instant feedback. So it could be, what do you want to learn next time? What do you want to learn today? What do you work on today? You can get straight feedback. It could be that you've got all students who've made their own, and as you're doing a musical tour around the classroom, students can stop and give feedback on others' work, and so they can collate that in that fashion. So this is a question that was asked on Twitter by somebody I know, just to demonstrate how this works. And so all of these words here have come from where hundreds of people have gone through and fed in. This was from a lady called Shelley Blackburn, who runs Digital Leader Chat and Digital Leader Network. And it was about what the digital leaders were to think about nationally for the Digital Leader Network, what they'd like to learn next through their work on the Digital Leader Network site. DigitalLeaderNetwork.co.uk, you can find information there all about that. So the next one we'll have a little look at is Screener. I find in my subject of ICT, I'm teaching the same micro skills all the time, and I can get tedious, and I want students to be more resilient anyway. So what I do is I make little screencasts of repeated skills that I need students to be able to learn and then use over and over again. So this free software will record your actions on screen and your voice while you're talking through and demonstrating how to do something. You can then upload it to a YouTube channel, and then once it's on the YouTube channel, you can also then watch it again, play it back, rewind it, stop where you need to, so forth and so on. Freeing you up in the classroom to support in ways that you might otherwise not been able to do previously, because you're then teaching that same micro skill, supporting students over and over again. Checklist is quite simply the simplest web page creator in the world ever. This was one I made for Teaching Cleveland back along in May. And all you can do is sign up. You can put polls in there, maps, images, links to videos, all sorts of things. Literally takes you under 10 minutes from not knowing what you're doing to getting a nice looking quality web page which you can share. It will take you minutes. It is literally fantastic. So that's checklist.com on that one. Time Toast, a nice tool as well. We're creating timelines, so if you're researching or asking students to look at the history of the microscope, for example, or whatever the historical context you're looking for, Time Toast can create a nice timeline like this, which has information about the topic you're researching and asking students to find out the history of. So they fill it in a text view, which is a case of filling in the table like so, but then it turns into a nice timeline like this. And another feature about it, which is really nice, is the students can collaborate on it at the same time, so you can be logged on different machines and working on it all at the same time. Mind mapping is a really useful tool in the classroom. Students planning things out. Varying levels of complexity here, but both tools here again include free poplets and spicy nodes. I'll take poplet here. No. Spicy notes. So I was working on developing our new accessible use policy at school. I'm trying to map out how I was going to do it. And so you know what mind mapping is. What's really nice about it is how you can sort of move things around and what have you, and expand various sections out, back in again, so forth and so on. Like so. So spicy notes, really nice, very easy to use too. Students like to demonstrate their work in interesting and fun ways too. These two, Pixton and Make Believes Comics, are two free comic making tools. Brilliant for MFL, brilliant for lots of subjects in fact. And you can embed your own pictures with steamboats along with what have you. And those can be emailed off or printed out and used to demonstrate learning. Both again free. Pixton will tie you to a month's freebie though, so if you're going to sign into Pixton, I would say maybe use it for that month, but then maybe move on to Make Beliefs Comics. A really powerful way as well of getting students to take ownership of their work is to get them to publish it. If they know they've got a wider audience and their teacher and their mates sat next to them and maybe mum and dad have actually look at the work, is to get it out there to a massive wide audience. These three, I'd say two of them, first of all, Issuu and Scribd, allow you to publish your work online. Okay, so you get a nice sort of flash turn page sort of thing, what have you. Lulu is a site though, which enables you to put your own works up there and then get them printed out in hardback books. Like, imagine if you had your Year 11 English class, their big essays, and you wanted to give them something to recognise their work, these fantastic pieces of work. You take pieces of work, upload them, and then get them printed out and hand those books out to the class of 2012, here's your book. You can really improve the quality of their writing if they are knowing it's going to end up something just published and put out there. Chrome, just a moment for Chrome, is a massively fantastic browser tool. Within Chrome, you have Chrome apps, and the App Store there is absolutely fantastic. Okay, I'm not going to go into the hundreds of things that are there, but if you are going to get a browser, get Chrome. Okay, there are loads and loads, hundreds of free tools which can support learning. I'll put you on to one, first of all, which is Aviary, like the birds. But they produce lots of different products. From sound editors to photo editors to picture editors to movie editors, okay, a really, really good suite of products, which again is completely free. I'm going to wrap up in a moment. I'm going to finish with one little thing called Socrative. It's a really good way of getting people focused in lessons a bit more by adding the elements of competition. What you can do with Socrative, if I just log in here, what you can do with Socrative is set quizzes for your class. Now I've got two helpful people in the audience who have devices that are going to take this quiz at the moment. Now, whether you're actually Whether you're actually a school which has got iPads, or if you're a school that hasn't, or if you're a school that only has PCs, or you're supporting Android, or whatever. The great thing about Socrative is it's completely available on every device going. Okay, so you can get every student in your classroom engaged in distance ownership or form. So I created a quiz for today. Okay, I'm going to do a space race quiz. I have 2 teams, and I've made a Super Mega Teach Me AFL test. And so what should happen, David and Caroline, on your devices? Now you should see that I have started the space race on your device. And so I'll ask you to put your name in, and students in your class will then be now shown on their screens, just asking them for their name, and they'll tell them what colour team they are. And as they move through on the activity, they'll be asked a number of different questions. And as they move through, so what will happen is the rockets will move across the screen, like so. I wanted tonight to give more iPads out to you so you could have more people go with it, but as with technology, some things are a little bit unpredictable. But it really, we've got, pairs, individuals, 50 students up to 50 students using this in your classroom. Okay? The elements of competition for checking learning in your classroom is absolutely phenomenal. And so, it might be that they've both got all the questions right. But what you can do as a teacher, at the end, when you end the activity, you can choose to have a report emailed to you, or you can download it. I'm just going to download that. And I can see I've got an Excel file here. If I open that up now, what I can see in a heartbeat, so we've got David and Caroline, and you joined us as well, thank you for that. And I can see straight away where the areas of knowledge are. So if I need to, I can see I need to go back to that slide on the whole SANA model there, and to go over that again so that you know that everyone knows it is redefinition rather than augmentation and application. But in a heartbeat, without me having to take the work in, without having to mark it, so forth and so on, and straight away, I'm able to hit in the classroom, get impact, and make sure the students are supported the best way possible. So, I'm about to wrap up. I'd like to put you in the direction of my blog. I created a little book recently on my blog, which has got more and more tools like this which can be used to support learning in the classroom. If you go into the little books, drop down here and get a little book too. All of the tools that I've talked about tonight and more are on there. But as it says on the sort of introduction, there's a help warning on it. Please, you'll be having ideas about how you can use this in your classroom, what have you. And I love that. It really excites me. It's fantastic. But please, make sure you're using it for the right reasons so that it's in there and it's supporting learning. Thank you very much.